Hi, welcome to She Spice. You could believe that Jerry Seinfeld, being one of the intriguing standard Joe Rogan, who's become famous without resting on indecencies or S-jokes, would be excessively ideal to toss conceal. However, the star of television's most renowned show about nothing has certainly had his minutes throughout. The long-term and rollerblading Seinfeld and Shash Lonstein became newspaper regulars and Howard Harsh feed, for sure, since ascending to acclaim during the 1980s stand-up circuit. Seinfeld has gone after all. All that from energized kids films and graph-besting pop divas to New York Satire Club proprietors and television show eminence. And there's one individual comic whose simple notice can drive this glad New Yorker genuinely mad goodness. I got your espresso, gracious here. Let me, and it's on me. Seinfeld might outshine RuPaul's race group with regards to tossing shade, from sketchy decisions in his dating life to assuming acknowledgement where it wasn't expected. He's done some obscure things. These occurrences could make you see the Seinfeld star in an entirely different light and have even driven individuals to contrast him and Diddy. So how did he respond? That was so significant. It's people. This is about people. You simply call me honey. Jerry Seinfeld liked himself somewhat of a Roger Ebert in 2014 when he took to Twitter to survey that year's chief vivified film in light of youngsters' structure hinders. However, rather than offering a go-ahead or disapproval, the entertaining man appeared to be more keen on scrutinizing its source material. Seinfeld, in fact, blamed the Lego film for taking one of his jokes. He tweeted, "I think Lego film took my Superman. Definitely dislikes Greenlight piece from AMX Seinfeld and Superman web episode. Any other person get that?" He then, at that point, added, "I'm happy they did. It was a tomfoolery bit #Lego my material." One more jokester before long got the discussion together with his own remarkable kind of consolation. Ricky Gaze answered, "I know how you feel. Schindler's Rundown took a ton of my initial stuff. You were so restless then, at that point." However, Seinfeld later guaranteed that he partook in the Lego film. He was unable to oppose a last piece of shade. Adding a story would have been a decent added touch. However, you presumably wouldn't get Jerry Seinfeld impacting TikTok or We Are Who We Are while cruising all over with entertainers. As a matter of fact, the star openly reprimanded Kesha a few times prior to guaranteeing he had no clue about who she was. The show unfurled in 2017 at the Kennedy Place during the public evening of chuckling and melody, while Seinfeld was being consulted by 94.7 New FM. DJ Tommy McFly, superfan Kesha, hindered to request an embrace. No way, Seinfeld answered, and Kesha was similarly ineffective on her next two endeavors because individuals are drained more often than not. "I love you. Such a lot of gracious thanks. No way. Please pass a little. Definitely no way," after Kesha at long last got the clue. Seinfeld added further affront by telling McFly, "I don't have the foggiest idea who that was," notwithstanding the reaction from Kesha's fans. Seinfeld stayed unrepentant in a talk with Extra, making sense of, "I don't embrace a complete more unusual. I need to meet somebody, make proper acquaintance. I got to begin someplace. I'm 63. I don't have the foggiest idea about each pop star. I don't know every but the difficult way possible in 2014 that getting some information about race is an unsafe move." During a portion for CBS toward the beginning of today, a journalist addressed why the vast majority of the visitors on his show, Joe Rogan, and vehicles getting espresso were white men. To say Seinfeld was not entertained is putting it mildly. Seinfeld terminated back, "It truly irritates me individuals think satire is the census or something. It must address the real pie diagram of America. Who minds it simply amusing? Entertaining is the world that I live in. You're amusing. I'm intrigued. You're not entertaining. I'm not intrigued. I care very little about orientation or race or any such thing to me. It's enemy of satire PC gibberish." The press didn't warmly embrace his refusal to examine the matter. This wasn't when Seinfeld first confronted de-analysis for an absence of racial mindfulness in 1998. The Los Angeles Times noticed that the African American population had little interest in the Seinfeld finale, referring to the practically complete shortfall of my characters on the New York-based sitcom. During the 1990s, only one sitcom could equal Companions as the 10 years' greatest hit, and as per its driving man, Seinfeld assumed a huge part in the focal point's fantastic achievement. Lisa Kudrow met Jerry Seinfeld at a Hollywood party in a talk with the everyday monster. I said, "Howdy," and he said, "The pleasure is all mine." I said, "Why, thank you." The entertainer, who broadly played Phoebe Morgensport in Companions, made sense of the fact that Seinfeld was alluding to the way that reruns of the first time of Companions were planned after the evaluations of Juggernaut Seinfeld that late spring. Rachel and the rest had accumulated strong, however unremarkable, appraisals while following Distraught About You Anyway. When the show was rebroadcast after the sixth time of Seinfeld, its prevalence was soar. Kudrow is glad to recognize this lift, not to remove anything from the composition on Companions, the cast, or how old buddies truly were. Nevertheless, the primary season our appraisals were okayest in the city. Most loved Chris and Davis might have continued to be essential for one of sitcom world's most notable groups of four. However, back in 1997, the possibility of being radiated into 38 million homes was naturally overwhelming for the youthful entertainer, and her co-star at the time didn't precisely reassure she. Davis originally showed up on Seinfeld in the episode The Pothole, playing Jerry's sweetheart, Jenna, in the wake of going the rough 6 unique tryouts just to get the little job she was justifiably anxious about recording before a live studio crowd. In a meeting with Today, she reviewed how Jerry Seinfeld exacerbated the situation. Right before activity, Jerry hangs over and murmurs 38 million, and I'm like, "What?" And he says, 38 million people watching. How are you treating me? I was like, I can't work like this. He recently felt that was so entertaining. Davis added thus every time he got an opportunity, he'd resemble 38 million G. Goodness, and I'm similar to wow, I'm so anxious. So that is the means by which Jerry found his tomfoolery startling the visitor. Stars to death. Davis can't have been too scarred by the experience. However, as she acknowledged an oddball return to the sitcom, a while later in the episode The Spread Shave, she shared, "I was simply so eager to get to return and be on the set. I resembled, yes, Jerry Seinfeld might have delighted in perhaps of his greatest late accomplishment through a show that started on the web." However, the Joe Rogan and Vehicles Getting Espresso star lacks the capacity to deal with the people who find notoriety exclusively by means of the web-based world. While showing up at a forthright occasion for the real-time feature Pop in 2015, Seinfeld was given some information about his perspectives on video sharing stages, and he didn't mince his words. As per the Hollywood Correspondent, he said, "The less there is, the better. I would rather not see this poop. We have a monster trash bin called YouTube for client-produced content, and we're attempting to create a little more elevated level." Seinfeld contended that the stage ought to just be for those with perceivable ability, regardless of whether he sees himself as at the highest point of its pyramid. He additionally guaranteed that his web series is infinitely better than anything else out there. Individuals don't expect quality programming on the web, and we feel like we're in front of a ton of spots. You can be in a similar world as feline recordings, despite everything conveying an extraordinary demo for the publicist Jerry Seinfeld, and Jessica Scar appear to have one of the more steady relationships in Hollywood, yet their starting points were very newspaper commendable. Scar had recently strolled down the path with another person when she started succumbing to Seinfeld. The pair initially met in 1998 at Manhattan's Reebok Sports Club, where Sclair was working out. Seinfeld was right away stricken and asked her out, evidently uninformed that she just got back from her special first night with Eric Netherlander. Sclair at first rebuked his advances. "I let him know I didn't think this was the perfect opportunity for me to be engaged with anyone," she later wrote in a New York Times piece. However, they kept on keeping in contact, and at last she confessed all about her wedded life, and somewhere around 2 months Scar sought legal separation. Portraying her union with Netherlander as unsalvageably broken, not long after she started openly dating Seinfeld naturally, Netherlander was angry when he saw pictures of them kissing. He told the New York Post, "I was as controlled, misdirected, and totally surprised by Jessica's betrayal. Jerry and Jessica have no regard for respectable qualities. They married each other. What shocked individuals considerably more was that a 38-year-old Jerry Seinfeld began dating a 17-year-old as well as romancing a recently hitched Lady Seinfeld's sketchy relationship history likewise includes dating a 17-year-old. When he was almost 40 in 1993, the entertaining man started dating Show's Lonstein, a young person 21 years his younger. After they met on a seat in Focal Park, a sweetheart's life rotated around home. They got schoolwork and a homeroom, and they needed to take off from home live with their 38-year-old VIP sweetheart. In May 1993, Jerry Seinfeld detected a young lady in New York City Focal Park who grabbed his attention, and he requested her telephone number. Shosanna Lonstein, regardless of Seinfeld at first minimizing the relationship, said they just went to a cafe. It immediately turned out to be more serious. Sometime thereafter, Seinfeld visited Lonstein at George Washington College, and she made successive excursions to Los Angeles, where he resided while recording. Seinfeld-Lonstein even moved to UCLA to be nearer to him anyway. Their relationship finished in 1997, as per Onstein. She maintained that more opportunities should go around and play, while Seinfeld was drenched in his requesting work plan. Subscribe She Spice for more videos.